Brilliant. Thank you very much. And I'd like to thank you very much for inviting me here today. So I'm Rebecca Dickinson. I'm a nurse and I'm a researcher, and the work I'm going to present today is part of my PhD, and this is joint funded by the University of Leeds and the MHRA, who are the UK medicines regulators. So my presentation focuses on what people think about the inclusion of information about benefits in medicine leaflets. So I'll start with a little bit of a background about medicine leaflets. European legislation requires that an information leaflet be provided with medicines, and for some people, this might be the only written information that they receive about their medicines. A common criticism is that these leaflets focus on harm information, which patients can find frightening. And suggestions to correct this include the proposal to include more information about the benefits of medicines. And this is something that has been suggested by the MHRA as well as other global regulatory bodies. So what is benefit information? Well, it tends to refer to information about the potential benefits of taking a medicine. And it could be a simple statement about the effectiveness of a medicine, or it could be numerical or graphical information about how likely a medicine is to work. And currently, we know very little about what patients think about the inclusion of benefit information in medicines leaflets. So in order to evaluate this, I designed some leaflets with benefit information in them. So I chose two types of medicines to design leaflets for, and the aim of this was to present a medicine leaflet for a curative and a preventative condition, and both of these had different levels of benefit, and that way I could see if there were any differences in patients' opinions according to whether it was a curative medicine, a preventative medicine, or on the level of benefit, and to see if that impacted upon what they thought about the inclusion of the information. So the medicines I chose were simvastatin to lower cholesterol levels and sumatriptan, which is used for migraine, and I gave the medicines hypothetical names. I also chose to present the benefit information using 4 different formats. And the formats were a textual format, an absolute risk presented as a percentage, a natural frequency, and a number needed to treat, which is a statistical representation of the number of patients you need to treat to prevent one bad outcome. So you can see there's an example here. This purple box is a textual statement which says robustatin can lower levels of cholesterol and triglycerides in your blood and can reduce the chance of you having a heart attack or stroke. Now, unfortunately, my box is not working. Ahaha. So this is a number needed to treat. It says if 20 people like you take robustatin over the next 5 years, one of them will be stopped from having a heart attack or stroke. So what did the patients think? Well, we'll start with the positive comments, if I can get those to pop up. Aha. So there were a small number of participants who liked the benefit information. And for this group, the information led them to feel that they were being treated with respect. And they felt that it helped them make informed decisions about their medicines. However, for the majority of the group, there we go, the numerical benefit information in particular provoked quite complex responses. So some participants were unable to understand the numerical information and they found it confusing. Some participants could understand the information, but they didn't want to engage with it. They felt that this information was the domain of the doctor and they didn't want to hear about it. A number of participants appeared to express a lot of anxiety and conflict after seeing the benefit information, and there were concerns that the information might put people off and that there was not quite enough information to help people make a decision. The work is qualitative, so there's no quantitative measure of which formats were best. However, it was apparent that the textual statement was most popular. However, this didn't really help patients quantify the likelihood of benefit. And patients did sometimes get quite a lot of sort of better information from the numerical information, even though they didn't like it. And often they had this light bulb moment where the participants suddenly understood the magnitude of benefit and appeared to develop greater perspective about their medicines. With regards to the numerical data, percentages were viewed as complicated, natural frequencies were viewed quite positively, and the number needed to treat were viewed as simple but very negative. Many of the participants wanted benefit information that encouraged them to take their medicines rather than make informed decisions. And sometimes the numerical information appeared to undermine their confidence in medicines and also appeared to remove some people's hope and faith in their treatments. And this could potentially impact upon their adherence. Some participants appeared to overestimate the benefits of the medicines, and there was surprise at the low benefits presented, and this was apparent in both of the medicine groups. But finally, it was also noted that a strong desire for benefit information remains. So while the numerical data was not welcome, people still want the facts about their medicines. So to conclude, there's a lot of interest at the moment in providing patients with good risk-benefit communication. And patients do need to receive good quality information about the harms and benefits of their medicines in order to make informed decisions. Patients involved in medicines development also need to understand the risks of harm and the likelihood of benefit of medicines in order to participate fully in the process. But benefit information can be challenging to present, and not everybody can understand it. And there's a concern that it might impact negatively on decision-making, leading patients to reject medicines from fear rather than a reasoned decision. However, a medicine leaflet might be a good place to include this information because it can ensure that patients receive standardised information about how likely a treatment will benefit them. But more research is required to ensure a consistent approach in presenting benefit information to better inform patients about their medicines without creating unease. And those facilitating the involvement of patients in medicines development need awareness about how the presentation of benefit information in written medicines information might impact upon a patient's satisfaction and understanding of their medicines. Thank you. I was pressing it. It was working. Sorry. So, next one. Next one. Sorry. So thank you for listening to me again. I know it's a bit of a long afternoon with me presenting twice. And I'm presenting today on behalf of colleagues of mine, Professor Theo Rayner from the University of Leeds and David Bryant from Luto Research UK. And unfortunately, my colleagues are unable to join us here today, and so they've recruited me to present on their behalf. So this presentation reports upon the user testing of an EPAR summary and explores whether the EPAR summary meets the needs of the general public. An EPAR summary refers to the European Public Assessment Report Summary, and these are documents designed to inform the general public about how the European Medicines Agency assess the risks and benefits of a medicine before it is granted a licence. These summaries are developed with input from patient and consumer organisations, and each summary is reviewed for its readability and should be written in a manner which is understandable to the public. However, no formal tests of readability are applied. So the aim of this research was to apply user testing methodology to test the readability of the EPAR summary. User testing is a performance-based process applied iteratively to assess document performance. And currently, European legislation necessitates the user testing of package leaflets to ensure their readability to patients. So this study recruited 40 members of the public to 4 rounds of user testing, and there were 10 people in each round. And the sample contained a range of participants representative of the general population and included a range of age, gender, and educational abilities. The rounds of participants were shown either a printed or a computer screen version of an EPAR summary, and a researcher undertook a user test questionnaire with each participant. The user test questionnaire was designed to test the participants' ability to find and understand 19 points considered to be the most critical information in the document. The object of the user test, in line with current European guidance for patient leaflets, was for 90% of the participants to find the information in the document and for 90% to show that they understood each point. Participants also had the opportunity to express their opinions on the EPAR summaries in a short, semi-structured interview. So the results for the original rounds were that for the printed EPAR summary, 6 out of 19 points met target, and this was the same for the screen version of the EPAR summary. And main complaints about the EPAR summary included that it was not very clear, not user-friendly, and too technical. So changes were made to the layout of the EPAR summary, and this included changes to the format, such as the use of more bullet points. Information was presented in 2 columns, text was justified to the right, and bold text, as opposed to italics or underlining, was added for emphasis. After these revisions, the EPAR summary performed better, with the print version having 14 out of 19 points meet the target, and for the screen version, 16 out of 19. Now, you will recall that in the original, it was 6 out of 19 in both. The qualitative feedback after these revisions was more positive. To conclude, the current EPAR document did not meet the needs of people in a user test. However, when revisions were made, according to good principles of design, the readability of the EPAR summary improved. An interesting finding of the study was that participants commented on the relationship between the EPAR summary and the package leaflet. And it is clear that there's considerable overlap between the 2 documents. And this raises the question of whether a combined document of both patient leaflet and the 2 main sections of the current EPAR summary would be feasible. It is clear that for patients to be involved in medicines development, this includes their involvement in the information that is provided with medicines to ensure that it meets their needs. Thank you very much.